Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today I'm going to show you how to make mug rugs right on the long arm. I'm wearing my shirt with my cocktails on it because I have been working over the holiday 4 days, and I deserve a nice stiff drink, but I gotta finish these mug rugs first because I want to send them out as some gifts next week, and luckily they're really quick. I've made some templates that I will put on my webpage, and I'll link it below. And the templates are going to stitch out some areas in the mug rug, and then it also will stitch out the ending piece, like the outside stitching. So everything's done on the long arm. We'll take the fabric off, cut them out, turn them out, and then we'll have to top stitch. But I just digitized it. It took a few minutes in Pro Stitcher Designer. If you haven't seen Pro Stitcher Designer, it comes with the Pro Stitchers now. If you bought a Pro Stitcher back when Art and Stitch was out, Art and Stitch is a great program. You can use that too. I just use Pro Stitcher Designer now that I have it. And there's some classes offered from the Handy Quilter educators that are great. So make sure you keep an eye open for those if you have Designer and you want to learn how to use it. But yeah, I made I thought of this project in a hotel when I was teaching at like 2 in the morning, and I was sitting there on my computer, messing around and digitizing these designs. And like I said, I'll put them on my website with the link below. But we're going to use that to kind of stitch out our outline, pick some designs. I'm using a few designs from Quiltable. It's a new website that just launched over the holiday weekend. That sells long arm designs in any of the formats, so any machine can use it. And so I'm going to use some designs from that on one mug rug, and then I'll use some designs from Pro Stitcher on the other. And we'll just work through it. I'll show you how I do it. And then we're going to end up stitching on the backing, and then I will turn them out. Like I said, top stitch them at my machine, and they'll be all done. These mug rugs are going to be stitched on some blue. This is my favorite solid line, which is from Connecting Threads. I love their Luxe Solids. So I believe this color is Sapphire, and I was auditioning colors. I wanted to use metallic, but then I was like, hot things are going to go on these. And I just, who knows how hot a person likes their coffee. So I just thought better of using metallic. I'm going to use some Magnifico because it gets a shine and it's like a faux metallic. And I'm going to do another, I'm making a wall hanging for another video, and that one's going to be all metallic. So I was like, oh, I can't burst my metallic bubble. So I was just auditioning some threads. I have white. I have 2001 and 2164. I'm going to say this is probably silver or some type of gray. I'm going to go with the gray because it makes me think of like silver, the metallic silver. They're so close when you stick them up against the fabric. So I did audition them. I pulled some out. I let it puddle, and they looked pretty similar. But I like the gray because, like I said, it reminds me of like silver and gold. I'll start singing. My toa, or my bobbin, is in the toa. I'm using bottom line 623 silver, my favorite bottom line color. And this is all set and ready to go. So I will bring you over to the machine and show you how we're going to stitch these out. I'll see you right back in a second. All right, so we're at the machine. What I've loaded up is I had some other fabric, some old, I believe this is something I use for backing. So I loaded up just a piece big enough that I can make these mug rugs. This is actually going to be inside the mug rug, so it doesn't matter what you load up. I have my solid, and what I did is I cut an 8.5-inch strip. I mean, you could just get a 1/4 yard of fabric and use that. I did base down 3 of the 4 sides. It's basted down pretty well. And the batting is 100% cotton batting just because it's going to be a mug rug. But it was a scrap. It was a scrap I cut off the bottom or the edge of another quilt. So, I mean, it's barely bigger. It's not even bigger than the fabric here, but it goes out far enough. These mug rugs are going to be 6 by 10. So, or they're going to finish 6 by 10. So this is going to be plenty big enough because I think I have an 8.5-inch strip. The batting goes almost out to the edges. So I will put the design in far enough that, or center the design far enough on the strip that I don't have to worry about anything not stitching out correctly. So let me bring you into the close to the screen so you can see how I'm going to open multiple designs and line them up. and then we will place them. And like I said, I'm going to stitch 2, so I will show you how we do all that. All right, we'll see you in a second when I move the camera. All right, so now we're ready to open our designs and get this process started. So I'm going to go File, Design, Open. I knew I was going to be making these mug rugs, so I made a file called Mug Rug and put some designs that I thought I might want to use in them. So it has a bunch of the designs from Quiltable, but it has my templates, Mug Rug 1 and Mug Rug 2. So I'm going to open Mug Rug 1, and there's that first file. This is going to be my first template, and this is what we're going to stitch our designs in. And then File, Design, Open, and I'm going to open Mug Rug 2. And now I have both of these files open. And these, like I said, are my template. I'm going to stitch the first one. We're going to fill it with some designs. And then the second one is going to stitch an outside border around, which will stitch down our backing. So this is kind of like the embroidery in the hoop, where we're just doing long arming in the hoop, and the hoop is our frame. So we need to align these together to make sure that they are going to stitch correctly, though, because this outside Mug Rug 2 should stitch 1/4 inch outside every line. So if I go up to my Modify tab, and first I'm going to go to Workspace, because I want to see which design is selected. And right now we have Mug Rug 2 selected because it was the last one we opened. I can go to my reposition. It's green, so that means that I have a file over here that says reposition. And remember, Pro Stitcher, we're always doing files, ribbon, sidebar. So in my sidebar, I'm going to hit the center button, and that's going to center that design on my crosshairs. Now, without moving the machine, I have my select tool selected. I'm going to tap that Mug Rug 1 design, and then on my sidebar, I'm going to hit that center again. Now, it moved everything outside of the screen, and that's fine. We can hit this bottom house, which is refresh, and now I can see that those designs are lined up perfectly, and that's exactly how I want them. So now I need to move them into the correct place, into their place on my fabric. These are going to be, I think they're 10 1/4 inch wide. The mug rugs themselves will finish at 6 by 10. And these designs are 10 or maybe 10.5. And I have like 21.5 inches of fabric. So I need to be careful. I need to get these as close as I can together. So I'm going to move this as a group. Now, I'm not going to baseline these two together because I want them to stay separate elements. I want the center piece and then I want the outside piece. But I still can stitch that, or I still can group them without baselining them. So I'm going to hit Select All. You'll see that it picks up both of my designs. And then I can move my machine or move my crosshairs to where I want this first design, the top left corner of this first design to start. So let me show you the fabric. So I put it right up here in this corner, and I can see my laser light, and remember, this is going to be the outside, so that's where I want this top left corner of this design. I can come back up to my Pro Stitcher, and using that still Modify Reposition, there's these functions here, top left, top right, bottom right. I can tap top left. You'll see the design moved off the screen. That's okay, it's where our crosshairs are. I'll hit refresh, and now the top left of the outermost design is right where my needle is. And that's perfect. I want it right there in that top left corner. So now I'll run a check, and I'm going to put my crosshairs on that bottom left corner and see where it lines up. It's right here, close to the edge, but that's okay because we're going to trim that off. So that piece is good. Now, I want to, let me move the camera a little bit so you can see. Sorry if you get dizzy. So now I need another set of this because I want to make 2. So I'm going to come up to my Edit tab, making sure everything is selected. I can tap on Workspace to make sure that my group is selected. And I'm going to hit this button that says Duplicate. And now I have another group. I have group 38 and group 39. Now group 39 is the one that we just opened. We need to move that into the correct place. So I'm going to move the machine and my crosshairs until I get, I don't know, 1/4 inch away from the bottom right corner. And a fun thing you can do, I'm going to zoom in. We have a measure function. It's under my quick access tools over here. I can tap measure, and this will show me, how far away I am from that point. And so this is a little over, it's like 1/3 of an inch. So that's fine. 1/3 of an inch will probably work. We'll have to check it. But now I'm at this bottom left corner of where I want that design to be. I can hit modify, reposition, bottom left, and it's going to put that design right where I want it. So now I have these side by side, and that's perfect. But I do want to run one more check to make sure that they are gonna fit on my fabric, because remember, I don't have a ton of extra fabric left over. I'm gonna turn off measure and come over to the bottom right corner, and if I look at the fabric, I have a good probably 1/2 inch or so. I have a finger's width, and we're really close to that on that other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit this drag button, or I'm gonna hit select all, pick up all of the designs, so both groups, hit drag, and I might move this over just a smidge because we were so close on the other side, and drop. So there are, so this will end up being the bottom right corner. All right, so now we have our first 2 designs ready. I'm going to come in, I'm going to hit the select and deselect everything. I want to select just the 2 mug rug ones, so I can hit select multiple, tap mug rug 1, mug rug 1, 2, and I want to stitch these out. In this case, I could baseline if I wanted to. I usually don't, just because it's only 2 pieces, and they don't really need to be connected in any way. So I will deselect the select all, and I'm going to stitch these out, and then we'll be right back. All right, so the 2 templates are stitched out and ready to go. I have a 4x6 inch rectangle and a 6x6 inch square, and I have the same thing over here. We're going to put different designs in them, but these are going to be my templates. So now I'm going to work on the right one first, and we'll make the right one my quiltable design. So first thing first, let's do the what we want in the left block. So I'm going to make an area, and you can use your quilt top. A lot of times if I have the design already open on the screen, I'll just use the design. So I'm going to use the screen to do all my measuring because I have the design still on there. And I want an area just on this 4x6 inch rectangle. I'm in my area tab, and there's 2 corner and multi-point. In this case, I'm going to 2 corner, and I'm just going to hit the star because I can. Because up here it says 2 corner and has the star button. So on my left handlebar, I can tap the star. It's going to give me 1 corner. I'm going to move my laser light, tap the star, and get my next corner. So now our area is done and it's made. So on this left side, I can go File, Design, Open. And what I really want is I want a snowman. So I'm going to open Snowman Party Family Border. And this was from a family or a snowman group or snowman pack. And I only want one of these snowmen. And I really only want the really big jolly one in the center. So I am going to use my finger to drag this and kind of put it in there. But I don't want everything else. So we're going to crop out this center design. So I'm going to move my crosshairs somewhere right before the design starts. And I can zoom in so we can get nice and close. I'm going to come up to my Pro Stitcher tab, hit New Start End. And if I tap Auto once, you'll see the New Start is right here. And then I'm going to tap Auto again to turn it off. All right, so then I'm going to move to the other side, and I want to move my end point, so I'm going to tap Auto once. It's going to move my end point to the nearest point where my crosshairs are, and I'm going to turn it off, so I'm going to tap it again. So now I have my start and my end points right around the base of this snowman. Well, I can use the up and down arrows to get as close as I want. And there's a somewhat straight line there, so I can't pick something in the middle. And then I'm going to move the stop point. There's the design point on that one. So now when I get my start and stops where I want them, I'm going to refresh and then just zoom in by drawing a box around my design. I can come up to our Modify tab. We can crop, and I'm going to crop start and end. And now I have myself a holly jolly, really fun snowman. I cropped, so I'm going to baseline. I always baseline right after I do a crop. And now I can come and skew. I can skew one. It's a four-sided or a four-pointed rectangle. And there is my holly jolly snowman. So I'm going to baseline one more time because I always baseline right after I skew. And I'm actually going to go to my resize with my lock on and just shrink it down a little bit. So now I have my snowman and he's looking good. So I can baseline him one more time. So let's do area. I'm going to clear my area. All right, so now we want to work on our square. And this is 6 by 6 inch square. In this case, I'm going to use multi-point. So I'm going to use my right hand, which multi-point, I can hit the diamond. I'm going to use the diamond in my right hand. And I'm going to multi-point and try to be really specific and keep my laser light on the stitch line. All right, so I'm going to zoom in here. Here's our design, or here's our area. And I'm going to go up to my File tab, Design, Open. And in this case, I want some of these trees, and I'm going to use Winter Village Small Pine Border. So although this is a border design, we're going to use it to fill. I'm first going to modify this. I know that those trees are way too big because I kind of want to fill this up. So over here with my lock on, I'm going to make these, I don't know, let's say 1.5 inches tall. So it's going to make us some really small trees, but it's also going to give us a lot of stitching to make the mug rug a little more stable. I can go up to our repeat function and I'm going to hit our fill button. I'm going to make sure I hit point to point. And then I will repeat some of these rows. That looks good. We need to shrink our vertical gap. That looks good. And then add some more horizontal, or not horizontal rows. We need vertical rows. So I want something like this. I think that actually looks pretty good. Let's see, I like that. We're going to crop it, so that's okay. So I'm going to come up to my Modify. And before we crop, very important, this looks good. We like how it looks, so I'm going to baseline it. You'll notice all the red or the black dots disappear. And then I'm going to go up to crop. We want to crop the outside. We want to close the edges. And what I really love about the crop function, if I hit drag, I can move my machine and audition where I want things to be cropped. So maybe I want them to be cropped about there. Right there at the top of that tree so it swings in. I like that a lot. So I'm going to hit drop. And it moved again. Drop. There we go. So now I love how that looks. I'm going to baseline this because we cropped. And now I have my first mug rug ready to stitch out. So now we need to stitch this out. And we have a lot of designs going on here. So this is how I like to do this is I will hit this button right here, the select nothing. I don't want anything selected. Then I'm going to come in to select multiple. I'm going to tap on my workspace on the right on my sidebar. And I will pick my designs all from my sidebar. And I don't need Mug Rug 2 yet. I just want the snow. I want the gingerbread man. So let's pick that one up first. What's it called? Gingerbread. And then I want my snowflakes. And then I want my snowman. And then I want my winter village. All right, so now that I have them all selected, I'm going to turn off select all so I don't touch something and select something on accident. I'll come back over to my sidebar and let's see our stitch out order. So we're doing Gingerbread Man 1, Snowflake 3, Snowflake 2. I really want it to do like this snowflake, then that one, then this one, then the bigger one, and then come back and do these 3. So let's find those ones. And we can move by using these arrows. So this one I want it to be 3rd. So I'm going to move it up. That one's good. This one I want it to be 2nd. So 1, 2, 3. And do you see how I'm moving the order of the stitch out? I want that one not to be there. So 4. Go back up. And we'll move this one up. Did I do that wrong? I want that one. Oh, we wanted it down. There we go. So it's stitching the big one, the small one, the other small one, big, and then top right, middle right, bottom right. And then we're jumping to the snowman, and then we're jumping to our edge to edge. So now I am ready to run Pro Stitcher, and I'm going to stitch this out. So the mug rugs are done. They are stitched. I wasn't paying attention and I put one of the snowflakes out of the line there. But other than that, I think everything looks great. I love this tree design. And he's so happy. He's the happy, chubby snowman. So we have one last step before we can take it off the frame. And it is stitching out the outside pieces, the Mug Rug 2 design. So I'm going to use my workspace to select these. I'm going to select multiple and tap on my side, Mug Rug 2, Mug Rug 2, and now I'm going to stitch these out, and I'll be right back. All right, so the designs have stitched out. They stitched out down there. So now, next step is we need to stitch down the Mug Rug 2 area, but we want to lay our backing on first. So for my backing, I just use the other half of that with the fabric strip. I'm going to lay it on top. It doesn't matter as long as I know that it's going to lay over everything. And I have like a 1/2 inch around each edge. And I have plenty for that. So now, let me take you back up to the screen. I want to select... when I stitched these out, I did stitch at a size 14 stitches an inch. Because I knew these designs were going to be smaller, especially that one snowflake that was only, 1.25 inches tall. So 14 stitches an inch for all of the stuff on the inside. I changed it back to 10 stitches an inch. And now I'm going to select my mug rug. So I'm going to hit my select multiple tool and come in and pick Mug Rug 2, Mug Rug 2. Oh yeah, I picked it up. I'll turn this off so I don't select something on accident. I've laid my top or my backing fabric over. So now I can come in and run this. So Pro Stitcher, run. And while it stitches, and I won't make you watch both of these, although it, I almost lost my thread. While it stitches, I kind of just make sure everything's laying nice and flat. I left a pretty generous hole in here. I might fix it because it might be a little too big of a hole, but whatever. We'll see. Oh, and you're watching the screen, so let me turn you down anyway. So here's that hole. That's the hole we're going to use to turn it out. So there's the first one. And since you didn't get to watch that first one, I guess we'll watch the second one. My basement's cold. I can't hold on, or my basement's cold. I can't hold on to this thread. And I'll just make sure it's nice and laying down flat and nice. do my tie off, trim my last thread. And now these are ready to be taken off and trimmed up. I'll take it off the frame. I will trim it. I'll trim right here. The centerpiece, I'll just trim right in the middle. Everything else, I'll try to give myself 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch. Again, that's all going to be inside the mug rug, but it gives me a little more to turn around. So let me do that, and I will see you all in a minute. All right, everyone, I'm back. The mug rugs have been taken off the frame. They're trimmed. I finished one, and then I have one unfinished. So when I trimmed it, I gave myself like 3/8 of an inch on the outside edges. And then there was that one space where we had maybe 3/8 of an inch or a 1/2 an inch total. I just cut that down the center. And that was between the two pieces. That's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt anything. I trimmed my corners because I'm going to turn this out. You know, that outside stitch that stitched our backing on is used to turn the project out. And I have these makeup brushes, and I use these to clean in my bobbin area because they're nice and soft. And although I have the Infinity and I can use canned air, I still go in with a brush, and I'm really gentle because there are cords and things down there for the thread cutter and the light, and you don't want to accidentally, be too rough with a brush and unplug one of those. But I can use the back of this brush and turn my corners out. So I did that. Let's see. So I would turn my corners out, get it nice and level, or nice and neat. These edges can be folded in. And I gave myself 3/8 of an inch, so I have a little bit of stuff to work with. Get it all laid down nice and looking neat. And you should have about 1/8 of an inch between that stitched line that we stitched on our Mug Rug 1 design and the outside. And I designed these so that you could go in and use that line to actually stitch on to finish it out. So I would get this to this point and go in, and I would press it really nice, and then you'll have something like this. And then I took this straight to my machine. Again, I stitched on that outside of that Mug Rug 1 design. So there's my outside stitching. I had a line to follow, and here is my completed mug rug. Super easy, super fast. This is the Quiltable version. They had the Quiltable designs, and this is designs that we took from Pro Stitcher. So I hope you try this out. I will, again, there's a link in the description below that will link you to my webpage where you can download the Mug Rug 1 and Mug Rug 2 designs. I mean, they're very simplistic. You could probably make one your own, but if you don't want to, they'll be down there. And try it out. Let me know how it goes. And I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for joining me. Remember, like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Hit the bell icon so you see new content when it drops. And follow me on social media, Adam's So Fun. And that's SEW on Facebook and Instagram. And check out my events page if you're interested in classes. We'll see you soon, everyone. Bye.